With the assistance of Pink Floyd, brain recordings are able to apprehend the musical qualities of speech. Through the decoding of brain recordings, neuroscientists have uncovered the regions of the brain responsible for handling both rhythm and vocal aspects of music. While Pink Floyd's Another Brick in the Wall, Part 1 Inch, filled the operating room, the neuroscientists at Albany Medical Center meticulously documented brain activity by analyzing electrode readings from epilepsy surgery patients. The objective is to record the electrical impulses of areas of the brain that are attuned to various musical elements such as tone, rhythm, harmony, and lyrics. The ultimate aim is to determine if these impulses can be used to recreate the auditory experience of the individual being studied. The answer is undoubtedly affirmative, as revealed by the meticulous scrutiny of data from 29 patients of this sort by neuroscientists at the University of California, Berkeley, more than 10 years after the fact. The expression, all in all, it was just a brick in the wall, is easily recognizable in the reconstructed melody, with its rhythms preserved and the lyrics, while not entirely clear, still discernible. This marks the first occasion that scientists have successfully reconstructed a clear and recognizable song from recordings of brain activity. The potential for recording and interpreting brain waves to capture the melodic aspects of speech, including syllables and prosody, has been demonstrated by the reconstruction. In people, prosody pertains to the musical elements of speech such as accent, rhythm, stress, and intonation, which convey significance that is not conveyed by words alone. IEEG recordings, which can only be obtained from the surface of the brain, specifically the auditory centers, ensure that the melodies in your mind remain private. Rest assured that no one will be able to eavesdrop on your inner musical musings anytime soon. Individuals who struggle with communication due to conditions such as stroke or paralysis may find benefit from recordings gathered from electrodes placed on the surface of the brain. These recordings may aid in replicating the rhythm and melody of speech that is often absent from current robotic reconstructions. The outcome of the study is truly remarkable, expressed Robert Knight, a UC Berkeley professor of psychology in the Helen Wills Neuroscience Institute and a neurologist who conducted the research jointly with Ludovic Bellier, a postdoctoral fellow. Music for me embodies both emotional depth and prosody. As the field of brain-machine interfaces continues to evolve, this discovery provides a means to incorporate musicality into future brain implants for individuals who require it. This could be beneficial for people who suffer from ALS or other neurological or developmental disorders that affect their speech output. Not only does this discovery enable us to decipher the linguistic aspects of speech, but also some of its affect and prosody. I believe this is a significant breakthrough in our ability to decode the true essence of speech. With advancements in brain imaging methods, it is conceivable that we may eventually be able to record brain activity without invasive measures by using highly sensitive electrodes attached to the scalp. At present, scalp EEG can identify brain activity that pertains to individual letters from a succession of letters, but this method necessitates at least 20 seconds to recognize a single letter. As a result, communication is arduous and demanding, according to Knight. According to Berlier, current non-invasive methods are not sufficiently precise. He expresses hope that in the future, through the use of electrodes placed externally on the skull, it will be possible to accurately monitor brain activity from deeper regions with a high-quality signal. Unfortunately, this technology is still a long way off. In the journal PLOS Biology, Bellier, Knight and their associates disclosed their findings today, claiming that their research has contributed to our comprehension of how the human brain processes music. They stated, "We have added another building block to our knowledge of this fascinating subject. Currently, the brain-machine interfaces employed to aid individuals in communicating when they cannot speak are capable of deciphering individual words. However, the resulting sentences produced by these devices possess a mechanical timbre similar to the speech generated by the late Stephen Hawking's communication device." Bellier described the current state of technology as being akin to a keyboard used to operate the mind. Instead of being able to simply read one's thoughts, one must physically push buttons to convey them. Unfortunately, the resulting voice produced by this method can come across as robotic, limiting the expressive freedom of the user. Bellier is well versed in music, having played various instruments such as drums, classical guitar, piano and bass since he was a child. At one point, he even played in a heavy metal band. When Knight approached him to develop the musicality of speech, Bellier eagerly accepted the proposal, stating that he was thrilled to be given the opportunity. Back in 2012, Knight, along with his postdoctoral counterpart Brian Paisley and their colleagues, achieved a significant milestone, successfully reconstructing the words that a person was hearing solely from analyzing recordings of brain activity. Knight's work has been expanded upon by other researchers in recent times. One such researcher is Eddie Chang, a neurosurgeon at UC San Francisco and senior co-author of a 2012 paper. Chang has delved deeper into the study of Knight's research by recording signals from the brain's motor area that are linked to movements of the jaw, lips and tongue. These signals have been utilized to recreate the speech that a paralyzed individual intended to convey, with the words being presented on a computer screen. In 2021, a study was conducted using artificial intelligence to analyze brain scans of a patient attempting to verbalize a sentence from a list of 50 predetermined words. Chang's method has been effective so far, but a recent study indicates that there may be additional components of speech that are crucial to human interaction that can be detected by monitoring the auditory regions of the brain. These regions are responsible for processing all aspects of sound. Bellier expressed optimism about the potential of decoding from auditory cortices, which are more attuned to the acoustics of speech sounds, as opposed to the motor cortex that is more closely associated with the physical movements involved in producing those sounds. He believes that this approach holds great promise and will add nuance to the information that can be decoded. In an attempt to surpass previous research that only tested decoding models' capability to differentiate between various musical genres and pieces, Bellier conducted a new study. He re-examined brain recordings that were gathered in 2012 and 2013, while patients were listening to a roughly 3-minute excerpt from the Pink Floyd song featured in the 1979 album The Wall. Bellier's goal was to develop regression-based decoding models that would not only identify but also reconstruct musical phrases. According to Bellier, the study that utilized artificial intelligence to decode brain activity and then reproduce it did not simply produce a tool to generate speech without understanding the process. Bellier and his colleagues were also able to identify previously unknown regions of the brain that are responsible for detecting rhythm, such as those found in the sound of a guitar. They also discovered that there are certain portions of the auditory cortex, specifically in the superior temporal gyrus located behind and above the ear, that activate at the beginning of a voice or synthesized sound, while other areas are activated by sustained vocals. It has been verified by the researchers that the right hemisphere of the brain demonstrates a greater sensitivity to music in comparison to the left hemisphere. According to Knight, there is a difference in the way language and music are processed in the brain. He suggests that language is primarily processed in the left hemisphere of the brain, while music is more widely distributed and tends to favor the right hemisphere. According to Bellier, it was uncertain whether the same phenomenon applied to auditory responses to music. However, recent findings prove that it is not an exclusively speech-related occurrence, but rather a fundamental aspect of the auditory system's processing of both speech and music. Knight is beginning a fresh exploration of the neural pathways that facilitate certain individuals with aphasia, caused by either stroke or brain damage, to communicate through song when they are unable to articulate their thoughts through spoken language. The paper has additional authors, apart from the main writer. These co-authors consist of Anais Lorenz and Deborah Marciano, both postdoctoral fellows at the Helen Wills Neuroscience Institute, Aysegül Gündüz from the University of Florida, and Gerwin Scholk and Peter Brunner from Albany Medical College in New York and Washington University, respectively. Scholk and Brunner are responsible for the collection of brain recordings. To support our channel's growth and ensure broader awareness, kindly hit the like and subscribe buttons. This will help us reach more individuals and disseminate valuable information. Thank you in advance.